Good evening and welcome to the 5-8, where we discuss each of the week's 5 most fucked up topics for 8 minutes. 5 topics, 8 minutes, 2 hosts, no guests tonight. Some singing. I don't think there's any singing tonight. A lot of curse words. There's going to be that. And as many cocktails as we deem necessary. LB, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you doing?
You know, I have a new response to that question.
Okay, good.
I'm at the coin show, and a friend of mine here, how are you? And he says, I'm notably well.
Ooh,
I think
that's
that's a
kind of
really
nice.
good answer.
I like that.
I'm totally stealing it. I am notably well.
Oh, I
Notably
love
well.
that your note that we can take note of your well-being and that it's on the positive side. I see you're drinking a tequila, I believe.
I am drinking a double tequila.
Ooh.
In fact, I discovered a new brand. It's
Oh,
called Lalo, and it's quite good.
okay. I might have to try some Lalo. Looks refreshing, looks good. And you're obviously in a different location.
I'm in a different location. As you can see behind me in the window of my hotel room is the Devon Tower, named for the Devon Energy Company, which anybody familiar with this city knows is obviously Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City. It's pretty. Yeah.
It's pretty. We're going to talk about it later. I will say that I thought that when we found out we were going to come here that I would just sing the musical song the whole time I was here. And
No.
it hasn't been in my head as much.
Oh, good. I don't know that anyone there even knows it. So,
At the coin show or in Oklahoma?
In Oklahoma.
Oh, they know. They might not like it.
I don't know anymore. It's interesting. It's a, I don't know. That was a old standard back in the day, but maybe.
Oh, you mean people in general? Yes, people in general do not know. The kids these days don't know.
Kids don't know. The kids don't know.
No, they don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And we've got news that was breaking today. We've got a kind of a Friday news dump happening again. It's back. The Friday sanity is sort of ramping up again. So we'll try to stay on top of all of that. I was on Jen Taub's show this morning. We had a lot of fun. And it was interesting because, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, she just wanted to talk Epstein. And as much as I love Jen Taub, I have to admit, I haven't caught many of her shows. I saw a couple early on. So I didn't know where she was sort of at with her audience. And she was like, will you come on and talk, Epstein and money? I'm like, sure. And it's great to do that with her because she's a money person.
She is.
Yeah. She has that great book. So she wants to have you on Talk Dirty Rubles as well. And just sort of revisiting this stuff. And you're like, oh my God, it's all sort of like mind blowing to revisit all of the stuff we dug up 10 years ago in this present moment. It continues to be the story. The story is Donald Trump and the money. That's the story. It gives you Epstein. It gives you the corruption. It gives you the mafia. It gives you all the crime. It gives you
the Kremlin.
I mean, the Kremlin. It gives you. It just gives you everything. Melania, possibly. I don't know what part.
Not really. It's just a joke, Melania.
Just a joke, Melania. Calm down, lady of the first order. Okay. So should we just jump into it? Let me set a timer.
Okay.
I'm one-handed, everybody.
Oh, I forgot. I knew there was something I forgot to ask about.
Yeah, you knew it, and then you completely blew it out of your mind today.
I did. Well, in my defense, I was busy at Coin Show.
It's true. Yeah, I had a big old fall on my bike. I did a John Kerry. I did a John Kerry bike fall on a trail right at an intersection. It wasn't good. And landed on my elbow and cracked it.
Oh no.
I know. It's okay. It just requires ice and a sling and I'm okay. Okay, wait. What am I looking for? I'm looking for the
timer?
Yeah. I was mostly just pissed that I love my bike rides. And I was just like, I'm on my bike. I love my bike. It was a beautiful day. Yay, beautiful day on the bike. It's sort of like, it's such a buzzkill.
Yeah. But this is why I don't ride bikes.
You should ride bikes.
Scooters. What is it called? Like a Lime scooter? I think that's the brand. You just like stand on it and you power around.
Oh yeah, you could scooter.
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
You're not doing any of it?
No. Why would I do that?
I should probably get an electric bike. Everybody has them up here, and
Yeah,
because people bike at night to the breweries because there's breweries everywhere, and then they have to bike home. And all those folks have electric bikes because then they have their brewery time, and then they get on their bike and they just sort of motor home. All right, we've got the clock on. Enough of the mountain talk. So we've got couples today. We've got couples tonight.
It's so cute.
Everybody in pairs. Little ditties about Cash and John. What do you know about what this is?
I mean, look, Kosh Patel went on Steve Bannon's show years ago and basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, but I use the quote in my book, and the book is from a piece I wrote in December of 2023. And Media Matters was the original source of the transcript who actually listened to this crap. But he basically said he was coming after everybody, that that's what they were going to do. Yeah. Kosh Patel has this enemies list, and this was always the way that they were going to do things. And lo and behold, Bolton is they don't like Bolton, I think, because Bolton, and the last thing I want to do is defend John Bolton. It's very strange. But like, I don't like his politics, but he's definitely he's a serious person. And I think he resented the fact that all of those people are clowns, and was one of the few people not afraid to say so. And I think he went on TV. Somebody was saying earlier this week and said something critical of Donald. And so Kosh Patel had the FBI raid his house.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see more and more of this stuff. And the one point I want to keep making, because I don't see this point being made elsewhere, is that when Donald Trump founded his media company, after he left office the first time, he set up, Trump Media and whatever it's called. And he gave shares to Kosh Patel and to Pam Bondi. And the shares went up in value a lot and are worth a lot of money. And I believe they sold some of these shares for millions of dollars. So these are also, coincidentally, and there's not that many people that are involved with this media company. Devin Nunes is another one. He's not involved with what's going on in the government.
Yeah. I just don't think Devin Nunes could have gotten confirmed. It's interesting, but or maybe he didn't want to. But,
I think he's smart enough not to go there. But he basically, optically anyway, pre-bribed them. He gave them a whole bunch of money, and now they're in charge of the organization in government that indicts people and the one that investigates people. So what did we think was going to happen? This is so corrupt. It's just it's funny. I mean, there's nothing you could do, but there's no way around it. There's no
cartoonish, yeah. And I think it's that everything is so. It's not just that there isn't a pretense anymore, because that's been gone for a while.
Yeah.
And first it started with the hypocrisy. Oh, if Obama did this, and that's so. We're so far past all of that. It's now just. It's just a middle finger, with a happy dance.
Yeah.
On their behalf. It's just they're just going to do what they're going to do. It doesn't matter how they talk about it. They don't even care how they talk about it anymore. There's no need to even spin anything. It's just, they're just going to do what they're going to do.
Although they are spinning it. If you go to Twitter or X now, this is what you see under that thing, right?
Okay. No one is above the law.
Okay.
I think that's less about spinning and just knowing that by doing this, they're going to trigger. They still like that. They still like watching people point out the hypocrisy and be upset and say, point out the bathroom and the boxes of classified docs. And, they like getting that, poking, fishing for that.
Yeah.
And having doing their statements and everything. And, what that also means is no one is above Donald Trump.
Yes.
because he's the law.
Mm-hmm.
And John Roberts made sure that that was actually a fact. I talked about this months ago, maybe even years of, he insists that he's the law, Donald. So when they say no one is above the law, it means no one's above Donald.
Yeah.
So
It's been less MAGA at the coin show than it's been in years past. I'm happy.
Oh, that's interesting.
Especially notably because I'm in Oklahoma, as I mentioned. But my friend Michael made up a point. So there's one guy that had like a jersey on that said like Trump 45, 47. And he was all proud of himself, whatever. Yeah. And my friend Michael's like, do they realize that like 45, 47 is like kind of like not a good thing? Like, where's the number in the middle, Donald?
Yeah.
It's not just one number. It had to be two because you're a loser. Like that's they can't even grasp that. But that was an interesting point that I hadn't thought about before.
Yeah.
Like you lost that one Super Bowl, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I don't really have anything more to say about that, about their mentality, his cult's mentality about him. That's their identity. He gave them identity.
Mm.
It was about identity. It was never about policy. It was never about anything other than identity.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about this in a later segment, but culture wars they have an end date to their effectiveness. And then they take a turn, and it can be a turn in any direction. It could just be a downward turn and kind of fades away, or it could come back, and if you could figure out how to make it, get the reins of it, might come back and actually bite the people who rely on it. Yes, a culture war clearly can get an identity, selling people an identity and their own identity, selling their own identity back to them with a validation gold stamp, right? The gold bullshit from Home Depot stamped all over it. Works to get someone into office. It got someone into office twice, right? At the highest position in the land, in the world. But there's a point where it won't work. It will run its course. And if that's all you've got, if that's it, good luck to you. And I think that Donald and the people around him understood that, and why they know how necessary corruption is, and how necessary fascism is, how necessary it is to tear down every institution, every check and balance, corrupt as much of the judiciary as possible, because the only way for them to survive what they've wrought is to stay in office.
Mm-hmm.
To stay in office. And he's not building a palace for somebody else. No way.
Yeah.
He's not.
It's like Netanyahu. It's the same idea. We have to keep the war going because the minute it stops, I'm gone. So
yeah,
we're going to keep it going. I want to say one more thing before we move on, which is, there was a lot of debate about who would be the worst appointee of Trump. And, we're not talking about Tulsi Gabbard, but I feel like we have to mention her kind of quietly, low-key destroying what was left of the intelligence community this week. Just, as a thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's all gone. We knew that was terrible with that appointment. When you put someone who appears to very clearly be a hostile foreign operative,
or certainly is behaving.
All the signs are there.
Mm-hmm.
And at the head of our intelligence agencies, there's no coming back from that.
Yeah.
You can't. It's done. I don't know how to even, the national security threat that woman is, and what she's wrought on this nation and on all of us it's immeasurable. It's immeasurable. It really is.
I think we're going to have this. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, even if it all ended today, she's out. we've got all new people in leadership, and they fire every single person because that's what they're going to have to do. Really, you're just going to have to fire hose that into all of our intelligence agencies, just really, really, really gone and rebuild from square one.
Yeah.
It's at least a generation. We're just flying blind, you know?
It's just, and I think it's scarier because I think most people don't see it and don't understand it. Obviously, people watching this do, but you know, there's so much tied up in that in intelligence work and how, you know, the agencies operate. I think we're going to see a situation though, where 1 week it's going to look like Tulsi's the worst, and 1 week it's going to be Bondi, and 1 week it's going to be Hegseth. But at some point, RFK is going to be like, hold my ivermectin juice.
Exactly.
It's going to,
When we get to mass death, then we can kind of go, oh.
Preventable mass death.
Yeah, especially preventable mass death of children. Mm-hmm. We're going to all go, oh, it's that guy. He's the worst.
He's the one.
He's the one. Yeah.
Okay, so do the timer because now it's time. You, for the first time in a long time, you went on X / the artist formerly known as Twitter, and you put out a tweet. And you went viral, and so viral that MAGAs were coming at you.
I know,
and they aren't as you know, they're not as top drawer anymore. These bots, and they have not been since Prigozhin died. Let's put it frank.
It's true.
Yeah. So tell everybody what happened.
Oh well, okay. So Elise Stefanik, who is unfortunately the congressperson in the district in which in which I now live, showed up at and it was just an event where it was like honoring someone who died. I don't even know. Right. And I heard about it because I'm in a group of, you know, as everybody knows, because I've had them on the show when you weren't on the show once, Martha Swan and I hosted some of the folks in this area who are really doing good resistance work. But one is someone running for a comptroller, and the other is a nurse who is just trying to coordinate action around awareness for what's going to happen to our hospitals and our communities with this, you know, the stealing all the money from Medicaid and giving it in tax breaks to the very wealthy people. Just how vulnerable we are here, and how vulnerable our hospitals are and our healthcare is in North Country, in this region. So just like I'm telling you, as normal folks, they were on the show, everyone goes, just as normal folks as you can get, and just normal, my little community, you know, what can we do to help each other stuff. So there's several of us in a group chat together. I don't really participate all that much, but it'll be like, hey, there's, you know, something going on over here. You know, if anybody wants to show up, or maybe we can donate some time over here. It's like, it's so wholesome. I can't even tell you.
It is very wholesome.
It's very wholesome. Yeah. It's not radical, because we both in the Twitter days, even there were DM groups of like the real, you know, loud voices and like, this is not that at all in any way, shape, or form. It's just wholesome, good community people trying to like figure out can we get some baked goods over here? Like, it's so sweet. And so, and not that they're not strong in, you know, believing in democracy and, you know, wanting to help with voting and things like that. Absolutely. But it's not some leftist thing. It's just not. And so about like an hour before, no one knew she was coming, or maybe people knew, but we didn't know. Yeah. And then I see this text. It's like, hey, she's gonna actually show up, because she doesn't show up for us. She doesn't come to her. She doesn't come here and talk to us. She doesn't do shit. She didn't even live here. She had her parents or something had a vacation home, because a lot of people have second homes here or third homes. They have camps, a lot of wealth up here. Or people maybe not even that wealthy, but they have some humble camp that they go and they for vacation in the summer. And she used that address to run for Congress. She doesn't know us. I don't even think she's ever been here for a winter. This woman couldn't snowplow to save her life. She is not from here. She's not. And she did get elected, I guess 12 years ago or whatever. And she's held the seat. Paul Ryan helped her. She was like supposedly his protege. And she was just this sort of, she presented herself as a fiscal conservative, old school Republican. Well, that sells in this area really, really well. People here, it's upstate New York. It's like they like tradition. They like something being conservative. They like somebody that feels like, okay, they're going to they're not going to bother us. They're just going to go do their thing. We're not going to be bothered. That's how people are here in terms of what traditionally they wanted from their politics. It wasn't, you just like, leave us alone. Just make sure we have a budget for the stuff we need and we'll take care of everything and just go, like, don't get us involved. That's the mentality up here, or had been. And so she kept getting into office because the other thing that breeds that kind of community is it's slow to kind of be on the uptake of maybe someone's a fraud. Maybe someone's not who they say they were. Sort of name recognition. People can't be bothered. Just put her back in there, whatever. Things are fine up here. I'm fine. Everything's fine. Okay. Things aren't fine anymore. It's bad. This trade war, we're on a border with Canada. A huge part of our industry, it's tourism, it's healthcare, and it's prisons. That's the industry here. Those are the employers here. That's where the money comes from. Well, most of our tourists are European or Canadian. Most are Canadian. So the Canadians were like, yeah, we're not coming. This guy's doing this trade war with us. Fuck you. Fuck America. We're not going to. So we got decimated this summer. The hotels weren't full. It sucked. People they need to make their nut and then get through the winter. And that we're screwed. We're also, because we're a rural community and we're an aging community, it's a lot of elderly here. This is not where you are to make your money. This is where you sort of kind of peter off into the night. I came a little early, but I'm petering off into the night. And so 80% of all of the revenue in our hospital, this hospital here, the revenue, the stuff that pays, not the gross revenue that pays for the doctors and the nurses and the techs and the heat and the air conditioning and everything that the hospital needs comes from Medicaid. So when they did that to Medicaid, we erupted. No one here thought that it was going to happen, and it happened. So we want to hear what the fuck did she do? Why is she doing this to us? People are angry at Elise Stefanik. People who voted for Trump are angry at Elise Stefanik because we're getting screwed. And this has happened and it's accelerated in the last 6 months. It really has. It's really like a moment of like clarity here of like, oh my God, this woman, she's bad. She's bad for us. She's got to go. So we didn't know she was coming because she's scared to come here. She's scared to come to her own district because she's going to get booed and she knows it. Mm-hmm. She shows up for this thing. We don't know ahead of time. There's very little time. And I get in this text group, it's like, hey, guys, she's coming. We're like, she's coming. And no one has time to show up, but a few people that are local and the nurses that were on their break. So they showed up and they showed up to listen to her. I'm going along on this, but I want everybody to know what happened. People showed up to listen to her, but as soon as she started talking, it was clear. It's like, it really was organic. It was just this boo that came out because we're so upset with her. And so it just boo, and I was like, oh my God, in Plattsburgh, right? And then there were and it wasn't just, people I knew, it was people showed up not to heckle her, but to see her because she's never here. And they're upset. And as soon as she started talking, it just was this, it really was a spontaneous, organic boo of like, no, right? Like, you're going to start talking and you're going to put on this farcical, oh, la, la, la. She's talking about how great some guy was. It's like, boo, we're hurting. Okay. So that's what that was. So I tweeted about that and they came for me. MAGA came for me, and people with all these opinions, they're not from up here. I'm like, you're not from up here. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. You know, go away. And I brought clarity. I wasn't hostile. I was just like, and then I had people who just went LOL, you know, just childish, retorts to me, and kept going. And so I just, okay, well, maybe she will get elected again. And then we can ask her to go look for the Epstein files. And they vanished. They just vanished when you bring up Epstein. So that was my experience. But that's what's happening up here. It gives me hope. It's why I said to Dave Daly last week, you know, this is a winnable district. We need a good candidate. The party needs to invest in here. People are upset and we're hurting. And she's the only politician we can point at and blame because she voted, you know, she voted for that horrendous bill.
She did.
So that's that. But J.D. Vance also got booed.
Well, he got booed and he got called a couch fucker a lot.
Did he?
Oh, yeah. There was the video of the guy just being like, did you fuck a couch, JD? Couch fucker? Whatever. So, you know, I think that's a good strategy to yell couch fucker at him everywhere he goes for the rest of his life. But, and again, I'm not the first one to point this out, but Stephen Miller was there too. Stephen Miller was there giving his Goebbels speech about how DC, it was all about 90-year-old hippies that were the problem, and they were the only ones that did just crazy, weird shit. Stephen Miller, in my opinion, is the author of most of this crap. Most of this real straight-up Nazi shit that's policy that they're trying to do is all that guy. So all of the booing and all of the whatever, I think what people need to do is boo him. And every time he's anywhere in public, boo him, follow him, scream at him. Yes, it should be like in Princess Bride, you know, Princess Bride, boo, boo, you putrescence, you know, just scream at him, make his life fucking hell. That guy is a wimp. He is a colossal wuss bag. And as soon as he heals all this stuff, it'll affect him. And he's the guy that we need to affect. J.D. Vance is just, I think by now he might even get off on the couch fucker jokes, honestly. But Miller doesn't know what it's like to experience that. And I think that he should learn. That's what, if I lived in DC and I had nothing to do, that's what I would be doing right now. I would just be following this motherfucker around. And every time I saw him anywhere, boo him. If he gets in the limo, in front of the limo, boo, 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 yell. You know, the guy with the sign with Manafort, something. This is the guy, more than anyone else, who should be the, I don't want to say the word target because that implies something I don't want to imply. We want to be nonviolent, but we want to be angry and you know, direct the anger at the person who really is the author of all of this Nazi shit.
Yeah.
Stephen Miller.
Yeah. And I think what this sort of last week is showing, and then there's, you know, we'll get to Gavin Newsom, but yes, for Donald and all of his operatives, you know, the facade is gone, right? Even though they're spinning and doing their weird thing, because whatever, they don't need to, and they know they don't need to. They know they have power. They know they're unchecked. They know they're not going anywhere. They know they can cancel the election. No one will do anything. Right. They know they're the bully on the schoolyard that's like, that does the, you know, oh yeah, what are you going to do about it? And the answer is, you know, from the teacher, always nothing. Call your parents, right? There's no parents to call. They know they have they're holding all the cards and they're behaving in that manner. Well, I feel like people are liberated a little bit more than they were before in terms of being vocal of how we feel about that. Not just having it be social media fighting and trolling and, you know, making declarations, but actually showing up where these people are That's what we saw this week. And just this organic boo, just we're going to let you know how we feel about what you're doing, and not be so afraid, unlike the billionaires and the CEOs of the tech sector. We're not showing up with gold bars, trying to protect our money. And I think it's because, folks actually, this economy it's not going well. It's expensive to go to the grocery store. It's bad. The price of eggs did not go down. Did not. And wherever the wealth creation is, which appears to be around insider trading and all this stuff going on out of the White House, we're not in on that. The average person is not allowed in on that. And now we're losing our health care. It's not, and our hospitals. It's not going well.
No.
Yeah, no, it's not going well.
It's not. Okay, so, again, I'm on the road. There's no parody song. It was very, very quick this week. There wasn't a lot of time. But we do have, so how like on the old shows, people will hand you a piece of paper and be like, oh, this just in.
Just in.
This is literally just in. Like I was uploading this while the credits were going. Okay. That's how new this is. That's how fresh.
It's fresh.
So I don't know. We haven't seen it. So we're excited for this. Okay, here we go.
Please, Puty, it's for the children. Wink, wink, okay? Yes? Okay? Thanks you.
So give people a little preface on that in case they missed what happened. Is that Melania did write a letter for Putin.
Oh, she wrote a letter for Putin, and it really looked AI generated. I don't want to imply that it is because, Lord knows Melania's gotten in enough trouble for her, literary misadventures. But
misadventures.
It read like something AI generated, but the last line was just, "It is time," and that was it kind of stuck out. Yeah. And people were suggesting that she meant it's time to, end the war, which I don't think she gives a flying fuck about ending the war. I think she's sick of, I don't think she's signed up for 4 more years of this shit.
How's she going to get out of this?
I don't know. I mean, she negotiated the prenup, she renegotiated. Yeah. She keeps going back to the table. It's like LeBron James opting out with the player option, opting out and then re-signing for more money. It's
I just can't even imagine the damage to her olfactory glands after all of the years of being next to him. Maybe she's just saving her nose.
I think, but to play devil's advocate, she's really not with him very much.
That's true.
Yeah. I don't know where she is. I don't know.
Don't know.
I don't know what's going on, but the fact that she sent the letter and then her signature looks exactly like Donald's signature.
Yeah.
My friend sent it to me, and I was like, "Is this real?" Did she?
Yeah. I looked at that. I'm like, "What the hell is this?"
I was like, it seems like it's an AI weird thing.
Is it auto pen? Is it Donald Trump auto pen?
Oh my God,
Melania. Oh my God, what is it?
Good job, Chunk. Good job, Mrs. Chunk, with the vocal stylings. That was a good job.
Oh, it was a good job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you for that. Anyway, okay, we should move on. We should move on to topic numero 3.
Numero 3.
Which is Jeffrey and Ghislaine, or Ghislaine and Jeffrey. Everything just gets stupider and dumber. It's really like, this is the headline right before we came on. Ghislaine Maxwell tells Justice Department she never saw Trump act inappropriately. He was a gentleman in all respects. He was acted very gentlemanly when he was raping those girls. That's what it was like. And it's like, he never behaved inappropriately, says the woman who thinks that raping children is appropriate. Like it, consider the source. How is this, seriously, play devil's advocate for me. You got assaulted by these MAGA people on Twitter the last couple of days. Pretend you're one of them. Like, how can they possibly make it seem like this is going to get him off the hook for being in the freaking Epstein Files?
I just don't think it does. I really don't. I don't think they're all going to be like, she said he was, they don't want to be in her camp in any way, shape, or form. This is all about trying to get to, in my opinion, trying to get to a pardon.
Your opinion, it's clear. It's the fucking headline and the headline of the news story.
It's just trying to make it all so to drive, little pieces of a narrative that is impossible to build, but they're going to lay them out anyway and get to the end result anyway. And he'll get away with it. His base won't react to it, but they're certainly not going to, they've already, the ones that are still with him have already just gone,
it's ride or die.
Whatever, maybe you did it. Okay, I don't care. Let me just, please get all the Black people out of DC. Like, they're there. They're those people. They're not going anywhere. But the manosphere, again, I come back to the manosphere. I don't have another word for it.
What do you mean by manosphere, just in case people...
just, look, there were a lot of men that aren't necessarily Trumpers, but could not bring themselves to vote for a woman, and never will. And so went ahead and, if they did vote, voted for Trump, and thought, well, whatever, what harm could it do? Because he's a gross guy, but whatever, it'll be fine. It can't be that bad. A lot of men did that, a lot, and they're the Joe Rogan folks that listen to him. They're the guys that used to listen to Howard Stern. They're the guys that listen to the God. They like, it's not really even about, they're the guys that just care about, are they getting their beet juice, and how do they, they're into weird health stuff to try to, pump up. Maybe they're those guys, or they just read about it, or they're just,
they think the Tate brothers are cool. Maybe a little.
The what?
The Tate brothers. Andrew Tate.
Yeah, I think that even kind of got a little too extreme. It's not just that it's toxic masculinity. It's just American maleness, has a culture. And there are people who, they give like investing advice. There's podcasters that do that, and they do very, very well. And it's just American male culture. And so the manosphere, what I'm referring to, there are in particular the influencers for that demographic, the demographic that advertisers went after for so many years, thinking that's where all the money was. And you wanted to get them kind of on the younger side, the 18 to 49 ball tanners. Yes, John, that's some more kind of, and in the spectrum of American maleness, of the manosphere, you do have folks that are all the way into the Proud Boy, Tucker Carlson, extreme. That's a big audience. But there's even more in the sort of middle, the Joe Roganites. And they're not buying this. And they don't want, they're off him. They're off him because of the Epstein stuff. And because they don't want to be, to sort of believe him is so incredulous now, and to buy this narrative and turn away from, these are the folks that were the first ones going, Epstein didn't kill himself, right? These are the men that were in that camp of like, yeah, I don't believe this. This is fishy. And there's more here, and, not necessarily Q crazy, but certainly if they're going to be interested in something, they're interested in this. When it comes to politics, and don't want to be taken for fools. And so it's just not not going to work.
Too late.
Yeah, too
Sorry.
late.
Yeah.
They don't have any problem. I always say misogyny has no mirror. It's not like they can see the mirror, but they don't care about that mirror anyway. If looking into it, these aren't.
Well, you can do cocaine off that mirror.
You can do cocaine off that mirror, but you're not looking at it. You're not catching your reflection and doing any kind of introspection. You're just partying, So, it's like, it's not even that they're, dumb men or anything. They're just disengaged in anything other than their own lives. And their form of entertainment is the manosphere. They're in the manosphere. So yeah, I don't know. This isn't going to work for them. And I don't know that it matters if Donald loses them, because he knows he is. I know those people around him, the strategists he has around him are smart enough to know that he's lost the one demographic he could not afford to lose. He's lost enough of them to where if it was in the ballot box and it was a legitimate ballot box again, he wouldn't have a chance, which is why he's attacking mail-in voting and why he's attacking all this, the elections themselves. So, but yeah, not going to work. That's another one of those things where trying to do a culture war with Jeffrey Epstein doesn't work. It doesn't work because you're going to interest people in a real criminal, someone who really was tied to intelligence services, somebody who really was, for everything on the surface we see, sort of blackmailing people, someone who was trafficking girls and convicted of doing so, someone who was raping them. That's not, and his sidekick, Ghislaine, who was clearly the brains of whatever operation they had going. And as dumb as she seems to be with everything, we just, listening to her, I don't want to listen to her voice, but listening to her, I'm like, oh, something's wrong there, really wrong. And just agenda driven and all that. These guys aren't falling for it. You can't turn that into something that you especially can't use Jeffrey Epstein and all of what he did and Ghislaine as a thing to radicalize people and then turn around and say, don't pay attention to that anymore. And that was just a Democratic hoax when it was yours, when the Republican Party was the one using it. So it's not going to work. It's not going to work with men.
I have to push back a little bit on this intelligence thing. I'm just going to read from the Washington Post story here. Asked whether she ever had any knowledge of possible ties between Epstein and the foreign intelligence agencies, including Israel's Mossad, Maxwell told Blanche she didn't. But I wouldn't know, she added. I mean, I would be very surprised if he did. Like, if that's true, if that is a true statement, and she would be very surprised if he did, then she is literally the stupidest person to ever draw breath on earth.
Yeah.
It's either that or you're lying. So pick one. Pick a lane, Ghislaine.
Pick a lane, Ghislaine.
Pick a lane, Ghislaine.
Yeah. How about that Saudi passport?
I don't know. Like, what else is he? Why is he doing all this stuff if not for intelligence? Why? Why did fucking the guy say he belongs to intelligence if he didn't belong to intelligence?
How did he get out of being criminally prosecuted for the Ponzi scheme that his partner went to prison for 18 years?
Right.
How did he get out of the child rape and trafficking the first time and have that just be about he was a John for prostitution and he could leave he just had to sleep in the prison? How did he get out of all of these things? What do you think someone would be turning over to the Justice Department or what kind of asset might they be to be able to walk away from this stuff when the people around him were being seriously convicted? It wasn't even like 18 years his former partner in that Ponzi scheme spent in prison. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't even an arrest of Jeffrey Epstein. There wasn't.
Nobody even knows that happened. Nobody even knows he was involved with it. That's a deep cut thing. That should be banner headline. This was the biggest Ponzi scheme ever until Madoff.
That's right.
Broke the record.
That's right.
He was the Babe Ruth, and Madoff was the Roger Maris, if you will. But these are huge crimes. Yeah,
huge crimes, and he's the one who brought all the money into it to start Towers Financial, and was according to Steve Hoffenberg, it was an arms dealer, the Queen's arms dealer, that introduced them.
Yeah.
So what are you doing running around with arms dealers if you're not involved in foreign intelligence? It begs credulity. She also really denied that her father ever knew Jeffrey. She wanted to put that to rest because once Robert Maxwell, it's been, there are folks that witnessed it and that know and that were with Robert Maxwell when he was introducing Jeffrey Epstein to them. So that's a real problem for the story that she and Epstein concocted about how they met and the nature of their relationship. Her dad, Robert Maxwell, is a very well documented, even FBI files on this guy, as being in intelligence for foreign nations, right? For Israel, possibly KGB, a lot on that. And I would venture to guess he did a lot of work with the Queen's intelligence services. He's very close friends with her, very close with her. That is why, and a British citizen, even though he was Czech. And that is why Ghislaine knew Prince Andrew to begin with and grew up around those princesses. Their parents were buddies. So if her dad was escorting Jeffrey Epstein around and introducing him to foreign intelligence officers as his protege, who was going to kind of take over his business, which is what those foreign intelligence officers have gone on the record saying that's how they knew Epstein, is Robert Maxwell introduced Epstein to them, then her whole story falls apart. Her whole story falls apart. And we all of a sudden have not just a motivation for the sex trafficking and the rapes and the recording. We have an understanding of who was actually doing the recording, where maybe those recordings were, where the money was coming from, if they were selling that material to foreign intelligence agencies because they were entrapping business leaders, political leaders, academic leaders, media leaders in the United States with this operation. It was their gig. Mm-hmm. And that gig only holds up to actually be a gig if they were working as sort of private intelligence operatives.
Yeah. Freelancers, if you will.
Freelancers, for sure. Yeah. Like her dad was. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's what that was. So it was either that or it wasn't. It would be really, and if you keep following the money, the answers are there. The answers are in the money.
Yes, they are.
Yeah.
And in all available evidence.
And
I think let's flip it around. Has there been any evidence at all, even one shred of evidence, to suggest that Trump isn't in the Epstein files? That Epstein wasn't some sort of spy, guy like this? That this horrible, disgusting operation wasn't tied to blackmail, but not for money, but to use it in intelligence work? Like, there's no evidence at all to support anything that it wasn't this. If there was evidence in the Epstein files that Trump was innocent, we'd have the fucking Epstein files by now.
That's right.
He only hides shit he's embarrassed of. His taxes, Melania's, all of her immigration stuff, the stuff that the South Park guys make fun of him for, which is a good segue into topic number 4.
It's a good segue. I just want to say a little bit more about this before we segue. So I think it is what we're talking about this now. And I was on Jen Taub's show this morning, and she was asking about it, and just sort of prompting me to talk about it a little bit, because she was like, it's so strange. What could this, and legitimately asking. So I feel like we're at the moment in the conversation where it is sort of time to revisit what Alex Acosta had to say. It is time to look back at that Robert Maxwell biography, and the two gentlemen who wrote that, and their sources, as they name in that book, who are still alive today, who are former Israeli intelligence officers, and who know and have gone on the record stating that, yes, Robert Maxwell introduced Jeffrey Epstein to us as his sort of protege for doing this sort of private intelligence work. It's time. I think it's almost time maybe for that conversation to begin in earnest, and some reporting to be done on it in earnest, and for those pieces of the puzzle to be fit together, because we've gone through enough of this puzzle publicly. Everyone's saturated with it, to that question starting. The whys of the money are starting to happen now. Like, it can't just be that all the money just came from Les Wexner. I mean, maybe, but why aren't we talking about the Ponzi scheme? Why didn't he go to prison for that? Was Donald Trump, why were people coming to Jeffrey Epstein for tax wizardry, right? What were they, whose money was actually in there? Do we have any evidence? Can we get any evidence that Donald Trump maybe was using Jeffrey Epstein to be his guy? He used his boss, Greenberg, Jeffrey was a protege to a lot of men in powerful positions, and Donald knew those men. He knew Robert Maxwell very well. He knew Ace Greenberg even better, who was the head of Bear Stearns. So it's time to sort of have that conversation. So I think that's like a big thing, maybe a big place that we're all at, and we can keep pushing on it in that way. Not that we want to leave his victims and those survivors behind. It's not about that. It's literally about coming full circle around to them and saying, here was the motivation. It wasn't just one man's, yes, like Elaine says, he was just a gross guy, and this is just what he was doing for himself. Mm-hmm. These victims have always said there was more going on there. And we were used in this most horrible way and victimized in the most horrible way. And we want answers for it. And it's time to get them those answers.
Well, it is. The answers are known, but those answers to those questions are Victoria's Secret. So
they are Victoria's Secret. Then the other thing, the final thing I want to say about it before we move on is one thing that came out in this. Who was the guy? What's his name again? That was interviewing her, that Donald Trump's former attorney.
Todd Blanche.
Okay.
Blanche or whatever the fuck is.
Yeah. Was just accepting at face value her saying there's no list, this list idea, the list in the files. And I think it's important for everyone to keep saying the list is from the victims and survivors. They named names, and those names are redacted. The Justice Department knows those names because the prosecutors interviewed the victims, and the victims named names. And Alan Dershowitz worked out this whole deal to where those named men were exempt. They weren't going to be prosecuted, and their names are redacted in the files, in the available documents that we have from the court and from the evidence against Jeffrey Epstein. That's the list. It's not that Jeffrey Epstein wrote a little list down of everybody he was blackmailing. Why would he need to do that? It's from the victims. It's from their affidavits. It's from the interviews that they had with prosecutors. They named names, and those are the names that we need.
Yes.
What we can surmise with everything being redacted about Donald Trump being a named person in that is that it was either one of the girl's attorneys or a prosecutor in the interview with Jeffrey Epstein, asking him over and over again about Donald Trump. So he's taking that name from the evidence that was gathered.
Yes.
He's taking that name and he's questioning Jeffrey Epstein about it. And Jeffrey Epstein is pleading the fifth and all the other amendments to not disclose whether or not Donald Trump was with him while he was recruiting, grooming, and raping and trafficking young girls. But those were the questions.
This is dark. It's dark. Now, there was an Israeli spy that was arrested in the United States whose name was Pollard and whose first name I can never remember. What was his first name?
Jonathan Pollard.
Right. Now, when he was arrested, his attorney was, I'm blanking on the name. Who was his attorney?
Alan Dershowitz.
Oh, Alan Dershowitz. Okay. Who was Jeffrey Epstein's attorney that negotiated? Oh. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow. Funny that.
About Pollard, the question everyone needs to ask there's a very specific question to ask. So Pollard was the first time that the United States had gone after to prosecute an Israeli spy. Israel is a very important ally at that point in time, still to this day, apparently. God knows why. And with what they're doing now, that with what Netanyahu is doing, I should be specific to him. So that was a big deal that the United States government went after Pollard, yes, rather than just sort of saying to Israel, hey, because, you know, we've got them everywhere. Like, these are allies. Hey, your guy crossed the line. Come get your guy. Right? This ends. It was so egregious what he did. It was so bad what he did. The way that he compromised our intelligence services, our national security, who he was selling those secrets to, what he was doing was so bad. We went after him and went after him hard, and he ended up in a hole for a long time. And it was Donald Trump who made sure he got out of that. And went back to Israel. It was just an abomination that this guy was released. Was it Donald, or did Biden misstep? I think it was Donald. I could be wrong about that, but it was up until this day. This was decades. This man was literally in a hole, like just in a private cell, just secured away because he was such a threat and he'd done such terrible things. So the question you got to ask about Alan Dershowitz is, do you really believe that Israel, sort of spy masters that they are, Israel would just let any attorney represent their spy that got caught, who's going to tell the attorney and disclose to the attorney the spy shit in the case? You think that was done outside of Israeli intelligence services? Anyone believe that?
MAGA, apparently.
I'm just saying what we know about Israeli defense, Israeli intelligence services.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Of course he's their guy. Of course, if Dershowitz is their guy, he's their guy.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that's the only thing he does.
Freaking defense attorney.
That's the only thing he does. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah. They got themselves the best defense attorney in the United States. So they got.
It's not just the best defense attorney in the United States. It's because there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those. It's someone that they had faith in was going to protect that stuff above and beyond.
Right.
To the utmost degree. So how do you have assurances of that? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm asking questions.
We're just asking questions.
Yeah.
That's all we're doing. Yeah, there's a lot of talk about Dershowitz and the sex stuff, the crimes. And I think that's the wrong way to approach him and how he fits in with this. I think it's much more interesting to think about why he was, as you said, chosen or procured, if you will, as Jeffrey's attorney. I think
why was Epstein so close with him? How do you even know him to begin with? What's that about?
All of that. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Dershowitz likes these high-profile, very scummy people cases. He's
He does, and he gets pressed and inserts
Yeah.
himself, whether he's hired attorney or not. That
Right.
Mia Farrow had a lot of that. You got into that. But this was not that.
Right.
This was not that. He was Pollard's attorney.
He was. He was. He was. Oh, moving on.
Moving on.
Moving on. By the way, lots of people watching, I think, saw you on Jen Taub's show today. So we want to welcome everybody that saw you and has not watched the show and is watching from Jen, who we've known for a long time. Fantastic. And welcome to the show. Welcome to the community, which is, you know, they're nice. They're cool.
They're really nice, as everyone over on her show is too. So it's a nice, you know, you guys have your own world going in the comments, and we love it. So we're happy to provide the hour plus where we're just sort of the background noise, I think, some of the time. So to the very cool conversations going on in the comments.
Yes.
All right. I set the timer already. What is our next?
Gavin and Donald.
Oh, Greg Olear, you still think, you still kind of like think Gavin Newsom is a nuisance?
I'm going to, there's something, I think this is, I've been thinking about it a lot because we talked about this morning or yesterday or whatever about, obviously it's great. He's pushing back. Obviously the stuff is funny. Obviously it makes all of us feel good. Does it do anything? Does it move the needle? Does it really move the needle? That's the question I have. I'm so tired of this. Oh, this is the next hero. Oh, this is the next hero. Oh, it's this white guy that's going to be the next hero. And now I'm watching memes of him being photoshopped as Superman, and I know that they're making fun of Trump, but it something bothers me about it. And I think maybe it's just that we've had to go down to their level of fucking stupid shit to get to this place. And, you know, I'm glad that we're there. I'm glad he's fighting back. I'm not trying to poo-poo anything. There's just something about it that makes me sad, I think. Just as a societally sad that we have to, all the people that on our side, who are the artists, who are the creatives, who are the smart people, in this, you know, thing. Sorry, we just are, you know. You can keep Dean Cain and Scott Baio. We'll have everybody else. You can have Kid Rock, whatever.
Jack White, who did a great thing this week. Yeah.
But like this is the best we can. It's just I don't know. It just makes me sad. As a creative person, I think it makes me sad that all the creativity that we have, and it's just like South Park talking about how small his dick is, and it's just depressing. So, and not only is it, and maybe this is just my PTSD from being like, you know, it's going to be Mueller's coming, and then it's Jack Smith is coming, and this guy says nobody's coming. It's just like, I've seen this movie before. It's just flash in the pan. Kimberly Guilfoyle, I don't know what it is, but you don't feel that way. You said, no, you said, and I should also add, generally speaking, you are way more pessimistic than I am about this stuff. So
yeah,
you being more optimistic about it.
Sorry, everybody.
Is good.
You're telling the behind the scenes. I am more like, you know.
But you're not about this. Not about this.
I'm not about this.
Yes. So why? Why is this different?
Okay. Because this is, yes, Mueller and Jack Smith had the ability to take this man's power away and his freedom away. And they failed. They failed because of not just messaging, but it takes too long. They're underestimating you know, how crippling time is, and wasting any time. And Merrick Garland wasted a whole year. Just, you know, it's because the way that the propaganda works, what was actually radicalizing people happens not just so quickly, but it's in the absence of, okay, everything's going to be done in justice and done secretly and behind closed doors. And, you know, you'll see it when you see it, and then boom, it'll be this thing, and then justice will arrive. And then we'll get into the long arc of a trial and all this stuff. Right. Well, all that time and all that void, that's a void that was just getting filled up constantly with the propaganda and the garbage. And propaganda is a weapon.
Yes.
It's a weapon. So it just, you're allowing the adversaries, the people who attack, we're literally attacking democracy, and going for this fascistic coup. You're allowing them to just build a massive armory and reinforcements and all of this stuff. So what's different for me with what Gavin Newsom is doing is he's attacking the armory.
Yeah.
And there's no time. There's no big, we don't have to wait for anything. And all it takes, and it is depressing how stupid it is, but it's stupid. It's just holding a mirror up. And again, this is one of the things that works on men really quickly and really well. That manosphere man, not the total cultist, right? But he's by just doing what Donald Trump does, and whether it's putting his head on the ridiculous memes or mimicking his language, just doing it back about himself, it's exposing how absurd everything is, and it's making the propaganda, that weapon, too embarrassing to go near and consume anymore. He's fucking up the consumption of the propaganda. And in that sense, it's, I think, very effective. And once you start severing the strength of that, and because it was just getting, Donald Trump would post it all caps and they would just like, right? And the news cycle, he could control the news cycle with it all. And Gavin Newsom just came in and said, nope, I can play that game too. And now look, I'm controlling the news cycle. And look, I'm, doing that. And it takes the weapon away. And I don't know that they have other weapons. They have the Justice Department. They have control over DC. They're going after the elections. They're doing their fascistic stuff. But that weapon, I think, is gone. I think it's been damaged so much that everything's just going to come. Now we're down to brass tacks of power, raw power, and the exercise of raw power. Having troops, our own troops in our capital, occupying our capital, and now knowing that Pete Hegseth is saying they need to have live ammunition on them. That happened today. So that now we're down to that.
But
it's important. It's important to take that weapon away.
I think this is another question that I have. And again, it's very funny. I like it. I'm enjoying it. Don't get me wrong. I'm glad he's doing it.
Yeah.
Is it getting to them? That's the thing. Is it? I don't trust that it's getting to them. Is it? It's just like another Lincoln Project thing where it's just all of our side in our little bubbles and cocoons loving on this guy, and the MAGA people have no fucking idea that this is even happening.
They know it's happening. It's being talked about. Oh yeah, in their media sphere constantly. But it's not about, is it waking them up or getting to them or anything. It's about taking that tool out of the toolbox.
Okay.
It's about dismantling that weapon. It's not about converting or waking anybody up, or it's ruining, the power of it. And we'll see where Trump turns, what he turns to grab onto, what he's using next. But it's pretty soon he's not going to be able to use that. It's already falling apart. So
good. I hope you're right. You're usually right, by the way. I should say that too. So
we'll see. We'll see.
No, it's not about the high road or the low road. I'm happy with taking the low road. I think that.
Yes, we should also say
worried that it's another fucking thing. We've been through this so many times where we think something is penetrating and it just doesn't. But I think you're right. I think it is because Trump is talking about it, and I think he knows.
He's talking about it. He's trying to figure out, what can I say and not sound like Gavin Newsom now. He's got a skip in there, there's a wedge. There's a break. This thing that was his favorite tool and weapon is all fucked up, and that's the point of it. It's good.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
I'm watching this show, Chief of War. And so it's kind of like, and it's about the Hawaiian Islands. And this last episode was really great. And the formation of those when they were different kingdoms, and then how sort of, after Captain Cook, but before, I guess, colonization. What do we call it? Before it was a state, before whatever. And the different kings are kind of at war, some of them within their own islands with their chiefs. And one of them just went and burned the food reserves that this other guy had, which was his big strength. So he took it out of the food out of the armory of it, because it was something that this guy had for feeding his people to make sure that he could survive. His people could survive a battle. So I hope I didn't spoil that for everybody. But anyway, it's a big deal, right? And you can tell, okay, we just moved to a new level now. We're going to see what the other side does, because one of their big things in their armory, it was food, has just been taken out. So now what are people going to do? So I do think we have to watch and see what Donald's going to turn to now that he doesn't have his all caps bullshit.
We'll see. And I hope it doesn't get, that's the other thing, is that it could be violent and bad. As that, the DC stuff is terrifying.
Yeah.
Did the timer go off? Are we?
Timer went off.
Okay. So in between segment 4 and 5, we have announcements.
Oh yeah. Announcements.
Yeah. The one announcement, obviously you were on Jen Taub's show.
Yeah.
This morning, which everybody should go watch. I'm going to be on her show next week, I think on Tuesday.
Good.
So that'll be fun, because Jen is great. We love Jen.
Love Jen.
And then we're gonna be off next week on Friday. It's first of all, it's my son's birthday. Second of all, it's Labor Day weekend, so we're taking the long weekend, and then we'll be back in September with 2 weeks of crazy shit to talk about.
God.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're in September.
See you in September.
Okay, next topic. We ready? That's it? That's our announcement?
If you want to stop me from singing, the next topic is not a good one.
Well, it's going to be fun. I want to hear about this.
Okay. I have to get prepared.
Get prepared. I've got the timer going. I can pause it.
Okay. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, I wanted to talk about OKC. So Ace and Shay. Ace is Ace Greenberg. Trump's, the guy who really did make Jeffrey Epstein initially.
Yeah.
Is Ace Greenberg, as you've discussed.
And Donald Trump.
Yes, and Donald Trump. So important guy. His real name is Alan C. Greenberg. He's gone by Ace. He's born here, Oklahoma City. One of the most famous, people to be born here. So there's a couple of things. First of all, I really do like the city. We've had a great time. It's way hipper than I thought. The architecture is really cool. There's good restaurants. Everybody's really nice. If you're ever like in Oklahoma City and you're rolling your eyes, don't roll your eyes. It's good. We had a meal at this restaurant, this Laotian restaurant, which I can't remember the name of it now, of course, but it was one of the best. It was fantastic. So there's all these stuff going on, and it's bigger than I thought. And the basketball team is here, the Oklahoma City Thunder. That's Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, who won the MVP, and they won the title this year. On the other side of the, I don't know if you can see it, is the actual, there it is right there. That's the stadium where they play. And I'm at the hotel where all the NBA players are contractually obligated to stay when they're on the road here, apparently. So that was one thing. I also, and I'm going to write about this at some point, I went up the road and I saw, because I kind of forgot about this, it's the memorial, because this is the place where Timothy McVeigh, the crazy, anarchist madman, blew up the federal building, the Alfred Murrah Federal Building, killing, I think, 170 people, and right in the middle of the business district. So I went up there and I looked at this thing, and I was like, well, I'm here. I can walk there. I have to go see it. And, I was unprepared for it, how moving it was, like how beautiful and how well they integrated it into the landscape of the place. I guess it happened at 9:02 in the morning. So there's these two, there's an entrance archway that says 9:01, and then there's a reflecting pool. And then on the other side, there's 9:03. So it's supposed to represent the time before and then the time when the healing begins. That's very moving. It's it really struck me. So that's a thing that happened. But and anybody that's here, I encourage you to go see that. There's also a museum that I can't go to because I was working all day when it was open. But anyway, I'm here at the coin show, and one of the sponsors of the coin show is this thing called Texit, Texit. So don't mess with Texit. Giving out all this stuff, and the booth is actually pretty close to our booth, right? And I was like, what the fuck is this Texit thing? And I say to my friend, is that what I think it is? He's like, yeah, it's what you think it is. So it combines two things that I love: cryptocurrency and Texas seceding from the Union in a beautiful way. Yeah, I just want to read, just because this is it's funny to me. It's a Texit coin. It's like Bitcoin, but it's better. And unlike Bitcoin and other leading cryptos, Texit coin can only be digitally mined. Guess where? Texas. Yeah. Texit coin is run by a leading team of alternative currency experts. And best of all, unlike Bitcoin, Texit coin is leading the way on a globe-changing mission. ... The secession of Texas from the crumbling United States. And I have to say, looking at the people in the booth, I couldn't, and I think this was set up in 2008, so it predates the Trump stuff, but I couldn't tell looking at them. They didn't seem very Trumpy to me. And I thought, seceding from the crumbling United States might very well be something we would all be happy to do.
I think we could cheer it on.
Yeah. But I just thought that was, this is don't mess with Texit. So I think,
I think they got a good slogan and made some fans, and they got to keep it going.
So I think, if they need a sponsor, if they want to sponsor a show, no, I'm kidding, of course. But it plays into how crazy everything is that I literally can't tell, what the deal is. I put online right outside my door is the ice machine, but there's a sign that just says ice, so I took a picture of that. And then down the hall, there's a sign that says IDF in the other door. Yeah. And I took a picture of that. I don't know what the fuck that means, but it's ice and IDF. So I posted this on Bluesky saying, I guess my hotel has all these things, and someone said, well, I really resent the false equivalency. That's bullshit. And I thought, okay, are you complaining that I'm equating the American Gestapo to the IDF? Or are you complaining that I'm comparing the IDF to the American Gestapo? I can't tell which one the person was.
How can we tell?
I literally don't know. And I felt that way with this Texit thing. We want to secede from the crumbling United States. Well, that isn't inherently MAGA, is my point. And this all breaks my brain at this thing. And if you want to succeed, as we've discussed on this very show, when Jen Taub, in fact, was our guest on the show that night, all you need to do is invalidate the Tyler-Texas Treaty and set Texas free. And then you know what happens? You know where the border is? Oklahoma. Yeah, that's all. So, anyway, my review is that I like OKC. Yeah. I like it. Sorry, I like it. Cool architecture too, man. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot more money there. There's a lot of oil there.
There's a lot of oil.
It's always been sort of a wealthy city, but I think the sports teams and all of that has really
singular.
Yeah. Team.
Yeah. Which is what makes it so special. I think. They're so happy to have a team. You know?
Yeah. See, I grew up very close to there. So I have a different experience of it as I shared with you.
Mm-hmm. Negative, not a positive one.
Not a positive.
Not as positive.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. And you encountered some of that. It just
I did.
Culturally a little rough. There's two Americas, and only when you're from the other America and you grew up in the other America, as opposed to what the coasts think of. And now I think everybody kind of sees it. Obviously, we're in an experience where we're divided outwardly and intimately at the same time. And we've never been in that place before, and that's what we're living through. So I don't know, Greg, you know, we got no choice.
We have no choice.
We're just going to have to get through it.